Oh, add this to the beginning. Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. I put something up on my story just to see what everyone would enjoy. A lot of people wanted to hear my experience of vocational college. If you don't know, I went to a vocational college. If you don't know what a vocational college is, it's uni level, but you can join at 16, which I personally don't agree with. Just because I always thought at 16 to 18 I really knew and found out who I was. I really didn't. I really found out who I was at 18 to 21, and I think it's quite young to go into such a difficult, hard-working industry at such a young age. However, each to their own. That's just my opinion. Yeah, so if you don't know, it's a college, it's a performing arts college that does singing, acting and dance. You can get a 3-year course, and now they're offering a degree course. So I did a 3-year diploma. They're now offering a degree, a 3-year degree course, and you can also do pre-vocational, which is a 1-year course. I think I'm going to do like a mix of everything. So I'm going to do a series on my experience in vocational college. I wish I had something like this to look at before I went. I'm not gonna name names, I'm not gonna point fingers, because I just don't think it's professional. But I think it's important to see a side of someone who's been through it, and obviously everyone's experience, every single individual at my college would have had a completely different experience. And obviously I've only been to one vocational college. However, talking to lots of other people, it's very similar in many different ways. Obviously, it's very different in lots of ways as well. So take what I say with a pinch of salt, but you can hear my view and take it as you please. So how I started off dance, I started when I was 3 years old doing ballet, eventually picking up different styles as I grew up. I also did stagecoach, so I had the singing and acting side of it as well. I've always wanted to do this, never wanted to do anything else. I knew I was going to go to a vocational college, or at least audition for one. So what I did before was I danced at just a dance school for a hobby kind of thing, and then I auditioned for Brit School at the age of 13, then went there at 14. So I auditioned for year 10, dance strand. So went to Brit from age 14 to 18. And then I auditioned for my vocational colleges. So originally I wanted to audition for 7 different colleges. 5 of them were musical theatre, 2 of them were contemporary ballet schools. So I had all my auditions lined up, and I did 4 of them. By 4, I knew that I got into 3 out of 4 of those, and one of those 3 was the one that I really wanted to go to. Unfortunately, it was the most expensive, and I did tell my parents, like, I'm happy to not go to the most expensive one, I'm happy to go to another one, it won't be as good, but training is training, like I'm still gonna get 3 years of training. So my parents remortgaged the house for me to go to college. The audition process for this is vague memory. I really enjoyed the audition. I didn't go to any of the open days just because I didn't have time, and I think you had to book at that time, and we didn't get any bookings. So my mum says that we went to an open day, but I don't remember going to an open day. I'm pretty sure it was the audition day that I remember. So we did a jazz class, a ballet class, a monologue, an acting class, and a singing audition. And then during that singing audition, I think you got asked questions about music as well. I might be lying, but I'm pretty sure. Then after that, I remember sitting in a room and some names got called out, and they said, you can go home. And I was one of those names who got called out. And I was thinking, oh, that's it, I'm done. I've done all the dance, singing and acting audition. The next one was the interview and the physio. So either that meant, oh, they're happy with me, they don't need to talk to me, or they know that they don't want me. So I went home. Next day I got a letter saying, I'm so sorry, we made a mistake, you weren't meant to go home, can you come in tomorrow? So then I drove to the college. Well, I didn't drive, couldn't drive then. My dad drove me to the college. I had my physio and went home. It was 5 minutes. It was literally 5 minutes of my day, and it was an hour drive. So I drove up there an hour, got my physio, drove back, and got the letter the next day saying that I was accepted. And from then on I was like, yeah, this is the college I really want to go to. I got into 3 out of 4 of the ones I auditioned for. I didn't audition for the last 3 of them. Chose my one that I went to. The most stressful part was finding accommodation. When you go to a vocational college, make sure you're on that accommodation. I didn't have a chance to go and look at the house. All I wanted was a room. I didn't care if it was a small room, big room, I don't care. I needed a room close enough, because a lot of people leave it to the last minute and then they're ending up miles away from the college and they have to drive in. It's just not something that you need to add extra stress onto your day. So make sure that you get onto that accommodation list quick, and anything offered, take it. Take it. Don't bother going looking around, especially at the moment. The years, we were the biggest year at first, and there was only about 70 of us, and that was classed as a big year. Now there's like hundreds in each year, so maybe not hundreds, but 100 and something. It's ridiculous, the size. So colleges are getting bigger and the accommodation is nowhere to be found for these students, so you need to make sure that you're on the accommodation list. That was most stressful. Throughout my 3 years I lived in 3 different houses. The first one I lived in a little box room. Like, it was tiny, it had enough room for a bed and a chest of drawers. There was not really much room floor, not really much space, but it was a room, I needed it. Second year I moved into a house of 4 including myself. It was a lovely house. I was going to stay there. However, my landlord didn't tell me until the last minute that he was selling the house. So we were all planning who's going to move in for next year and stuff. And then I messaged my landlord and he messaged back saying, oh, sorry, I'm selling the house. I was thinking, when were you going to tell me this? Anyways, then I moved into my final house, which was the most loveliest house I've been in. Like, it was lush. It was the cleanest and the newest house I've been in. Yeah, so those were my 3 houses. First house, I had a problem with the people there. Smoking weed in the house made it smell, gave me headaches. My body doesn't agree with weed, it just can't take it. Like, being around it gave me a headache, and I wasn't even around it, it was just excess of it around the house. It just was not nice. Second housemates, lovely, still contact with them today. And then my third housemates, I didn't know any of well, I knew of the second years in my last house, but lovely housemates. I don't know if this is like every college. We had a massive uniform list of what to get, and when I say massive, it was huge. Like, my whole summer consisted on what I was getting for this college. The amount of times I visited that dance shop in Epsom was ridiculous. Just be wary, like, you do not need half of that stuff on that list. Obviously, ballet shoes, ballet uniform. Knee pads I would advise getting, but didn't use them for my 3 years. Just had to strengthen those knees up, you know. Harem pants, don't bother with harem pants, never worn them. Jazz boots, don't bother with those, never worn them. Even jazz shoes, I know, so I got them in my first year. Out of the 3 years, I think I used them maybe 3 times, and that was in 1 class. And they say that you need them for auditions. I have not worn jazz shoes in an audition yet. I go barefoot or trainers. Like, that's all I've worn, or Latins or heels. The amount of shoes, and I can do a whole different video on dance wear shoes that I've got. It's ridiculous. It's so much money for the amount of times you actually use them. It's just not worth it. But yeah, maybe when you go to a vocational college, ask the year above what they actually use and what you actually will need, because most of it you do not use, or you use your own thing, or you can sort of work your way around it. Just money wise, it's just, yeah. I'm gonna now go on to like makeup appearance. Now, I've never been one for focusing more on my appearance than my personality, my talent, etc, etc. Like, appearance, I care about it, but not to the extent of, as long as I'm happy to go out like I am, it's chill. But most of my first year was being told, put some makeup on. This is one thing I never agreed with, because putting makeup on should never affect the way my teachers look at me, the way I act in class, or the way I come across. Makeup shouldn't affect that. Yes, I understand it for when people come in to watch auditions, shows, completely agree with that. But when I'm training every day, I'm not caking my face in makeup. Makeup does not affect my talent, the way I'm viewed, my attitude in class. It doesn't affect that. And my view on it is, if I'm wearing loads of makeup a day, when I go on stage, I'm just going to feel like I'm in class. Whereas I'm wearing no makeup every day and still performing, but when I go on stage, I feel like a different person. I make sure I put my makeup on to make me feel like that character, to make me feel different. But if I'm wearing it every day, I'm that character every day. When I go on stage, it's not going to change. That's my view on it. And I know stage makeup is different to everyday makeup. However, some stage makeup you may have to do everyday makeup. It depends on the character. That's just my view on it. And I didn't agree being told every day that I needed to wear makeup. And at first, I sort of, maybe not advise this, but what I did was I started with sort of a base layer of makeup. So I'd put foundation on, mascara on, and I'd put a little bit of lipstick on. Then I'd sort of subtle it down throughout the days. So eventually I only got to mascara. And then eventually I just wouldn't wear anything. And I think eventually the teacher was like, okay, look, as long as she works hard, it's fine. Out of the 3 years, the thing that stayed consistent was my hard work. And that is all you should do. Stay humble, work hard, don't get stuck in the college environment. You're there 24/7. And if you get stuck in there, your mental health will go downhill. And that happened to pretty much everyone in college. Our days aren't short. My first year, I did 9 to 12 hours a day for 5 days a week. Eventually in second and third year, that went from 9 to 12 hours for 6 days a week. That's a lot, with no social life, and your social is in college. So you're living with college people, you're dancing with college people, you're socialising with college people. Your whole life revolves around college in those 3 years. And you have to find a way of getting out of that and having your own time. And that's what I think is a good thing that everyone should find during 3 years in college, because it is hard. It's not easy. 3 years of college is not easy. Anyone that says it's easy is either lying or has had everything handed to them on a fucking silver plate. Is it silver spoon, silver plate, something like that? So I really enjoyed first year. I was so excited to move out. We had everything planned. I got new kitchen stuff, got new bedding, I was really excited, and that was literally my whole birthday present that year, like moving out stuff. I found it so exciting. Then when I got there, it was a little bit of a shock. Like, we got there, we unpacked, I was still excited, met my new housemates, and then my family left and I was like, oh, now it's really real. I can't just go to my mum and give her a hug. Like, it really hit me then when they left. I was like, I don't get homesick, but first year, that first couple of months, that was hard. I got really homesick. And you know what didn't help was I was going back each weekend, so I was having that tease of, oh, here's family time, and now back to college. Here's family, and some people it worked for, because they were like, oh, it's fine, I've got my family to look forward to on the weekend. and home. Whereas for me, I think it was sort of like a bit of a tease. It wasn't enough. So in first year, I did the 5 days, and then on the weekends, I came back to work. So I did Saturday and Sunday work, and then I did Monday to Friday college. So I didn't get a day off. But the fact that I was coming home, I didn't really mind. It was quite nice. And I was also earning money at the same time. Then at the end of second year, I started my DDE, which was an extra course that I did on top of it, which is a dance teaching course. It was a lot. It was a lot. So in first year I started it, and I think we did a little summer week intensive, which was our first like taster of it. And then second year, it got a lot. That's when I moved on to 6 days. And then I also didn't have half terms because we stayed for half terms. It was a lot. It is going to be worth it once I get it, once it's done. However, the written part, I'm waiting on other people, and it's been very stressful. And that's another completely different video. But yeah, it was hard work. It was a lot of hard work. So first year was fun. It was enjoyable. I love a new place, new people, new teachers. I loved it. I remember on our first day coming into the common room, and the only person I knew was Mimi, and I knew her from Brit before, and we didn't really know each other, but we knew of each other because she was in the year above. Yeah, so I remember going into the common room and getting to know people. I think I just sat, because everyone was in there, we were sitting on the floor, so we were sitting on the floor and we were just chatting, getting to know people. That's the point. I really enjoyed it because we're meeting new people. I love meeting new people. If you know me, I love meeting new people. And it was a new environment, new place. It was all new, and we were all very excited. Everyone was so excited to start. We didn't know what to expect. And the third years we had at the time were very excited to see us. They were really sweet from what I remember. I think that helped all bring us in. Yeah, so first year we started from the bottom again. So because everyone's come in from different backgrounds, different places, different training, everyone's here, there and everywhere. So first year is sort of a guide to get you all back on the same level. So ballet went straight to sort of strengthening and getting everyone to that same strength, same knowledge of movements, etc, etc. So that was sort of going back to basics, which I think was very good and very helpful. I remember at the time being like, oh, why are we going back to basics? But it was helpful. Like, we all needed it. First year, my ballet teachers were the best. Like, I didn't really like ballet before, and first year ballet really made me enjoy ballet. I never thought I would ever say that in my life, but first year ballet made me love ballet. I felt strong, I felt technical for once. I felt like I could do ballet, because for me, I'm quite compact, I'm quite short, and as ballerinas, the stereotype of a ballerina is slim, long and tall, and that was pretty much all of first set. I was in middle set, which was the perfect place for me to be. It was like a mix of everyone, and everyone's so supportive. I really enjoyed my second group ballet. Everyone was so supportive. And that's one thing I do recommend in college. Make sure you surround yourself by supportive people. Don't be with people that envy your success. You don't need that in life. You do not need that in life. I remember all of our classes sort of going back to basics. It was more, first year was more strengthening, technique, getting us all the same level, which was good for us. The one thing I do think was best first year out of second and third year was the acting. This was the time we actually like got up and did more acting, more improvisation, script, all sorts of this. Like, our acting teacher was very good, and then he left at the end of first year, and then we didn't really do much acting until like later on we did different acting, but that's in the second. That's for later on. Yeah, so first year was very good, and I think it was quite hard as well because you were stuck in one place with random people you did not know, doing what you love, but you just had to, there's not a lot of social time. The social time is in the locker rooms. if you know, you know, like, the locker room's the place to go if you want some social time. So it is tough. It was a lot, and with so many bodies in one place, it was so hard to do all of that in such a quick time. This is why I can get changed and ready so quickly, because dance has helped me with that. I'm able to do that now. Putting ballet tights and a leotard on after a sweaty jazz class, then putting your hair into a bun, and then wanting to go for a wee with hundreds of other girls around you. And also the lockers are on top of each other, so if you're on a top locker, you've got someone also sitting there, so you're reaching over. It was stress. That was the most stressful part of it, trying to actually get to your fucking locker, and then trying to eat, and then if you drop something, you've dropped it on the person's head below. Like, I was always the below locker until third year I got to the top locker. Yeah, so it's a 3-year course that does singing, acting and dance. The first year you're all mixed, then the second year you're put into strands, which is either DT, dance theatre, or MT, musical theatre. You don't choose, they find you out throughout first year and go from there. Now, I went in as a dancer. I was the one that was like, nope, I'm going to be on DT, I'm so ready, I'm going to be on dance theatre. Put me in dance theatre now. Then, the day came when we found out our strands. I went in there and they were like, you're in musical theatre. And that's how she says it. Musical theatre. And I just went, oh, okay. And they were like, is that okay? I was like, to be honest, it is what it is. Like, I thought I was going to be on dance theatre. I thought that whole first year I was going to be on DT. I was like, I didn't realise I could sing. So my whole first year, we were in like little groups of 7 for singing lessons. That was our singing lesson for the week. And I was always the one that would not get up. I think I managed to do 3 weeks in a row of not getting up, because I was just terrified. Like, you know when you're stuck in your chair, some people won't understand, but you tell yourself, yeah, I'm gonna get up, and your body just physically won't move. That was me. And I couldn't get up unless, like, the teacher pointed to me and went, right, Tasha, you're up. And that's what I needed. In first year, I needed someone to be like, get up, get over it, and just get up and sing. Like, what's gonna go wrong? You're gonna hit a bad note. Get over it. That's life. So I'm glad that I was pushed in first year to get my butt off that seat and get up and sing, because now I really enjoy singing. And I was always the one in third year. Okay, I wasn't always the one, but eventually by third year I was like, yep, okay, I'll get up and sing. I'm up for that. It really made me push myself and out of my comfort zone. Went in as a dancer, came out of as a singer, dancer, actor. From first year, I would never think that I would be a person calling myself, yeah, I'm a singer. I wouldn't have ever thought that. So I'm very happy that that has come out of college, and they pushed me out of my comfort zone. That is what's really good about college, vocational college. They don't care how it's going to affect you. It was just something in my mind. The brain is very strong. It manipulates and takes over your body. You do not want that. You need to, yeah. So yeah, that's what really pushed me in first year. I would never have thought I was put into MT. So I'm very happy that happened. At the time I was like, I don't know, I'm going to be the weakest out of all of them. Like, I'm going to have to do this, this and this. And it wasn't like that at all. Like, some days I was really good, other days I was really bad. Like, we all have those days. And our group was very similar. There was no weaklings, there was no like obvious strength. Like, we all came together and we were all really very similar on the same level, and I rated that a lot, because overall we supported each other and we were on the same wavelength, and that's what helped us stay at that level together. And there was none of this, like, I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah. I'm going to end this video here. I hope that helped on audition process, what I did before, how I came in to college, a little bit about the college and my first year struggles and non-struggles. But yeah, I'm going to keep this series going, and hopefully by the end of it I'll have everything that I need to get out for college, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gives you some sort of insight, whether you're interested in going or whether you're just nosy. Let's just hope this helped. The next video, I'm going to base it on my second year and tips, tricks, and things I wish I knew before, and things to be prepared for. I don't know how I'm going to put that onto a title, but that's the situation for the second video. I think it's really interesting in the fact that I'm compacting it into different videos. You can choose which video to watch. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.